Hello, welcome to Bits and Biology. My name's Liz, and today I'm going to do a solo playthrough of On the Origin of Species. This is a game published by Artana Games and designed by Gerard Asensi and Ferran Renalius. This is the same design team who brought us Lacrimosa. The artwork was done by Amelia Sales. Let's take a look at this artwork. And she also had a hand in the artwork for Genotype, a Mendelian genetics game, and for First in Flight. So what you see here is the main game board, and speaking of the artwork, we have a map of the Galapagos Islands. These circles with different dates on them, these represent the dates that Darwin arrived in those locations or was in those locations during his trip through the Galapagos. So on his voyage of the Beagle, as he wrote about in, so I have the Penguin Classics edition of the Voyage of the Beagle. It's a pretty good book. He's a little bit waxes poetic on some things, but very interesting to read. The premise of the game is that players are joining the Beagle's journey through the Galapagos Islands, carrying out research on the island habitats and using their observations to discover the natural history of the species they are encountering, just as Darwin did. The player who makes the most progress in the islands with their research and discovery will be the most distinguished naturalist. In other words, they'll have the most victory points and they will win the game. During the game, the Beagle, which is represented by this quite beautiful wooden meeple here, is going to start here in South America and we'll be exploring the Galapagos Islands. And so what you see here is a grid of spaces, if you notice the squares that are on this board, where species tiles are going to be placed. And so these are the species tiles. They'll eventually be out like so. And players will add their observation cubes to the tiles in order to make use of the resources that are shown on each of these tiles. Some of the tiles don't have resources. These are the highest level tiles. As players are placing these tiles on the board, they will have gotten the rewards that are located on the other side. So these consist of points, various types of cards, and then they will be moving the Beagle throughout the game as species are discovered. So discovering a species means that you are going to be putting it on the board. You can also collect these species tiles, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. So putting your cubes out on the tiles, your observation cubes, this reflects the fact that you have knowledge of the local flora and fauna. You're going to spend those cubes using the resources that are on the tiles where they're located. You'll spend those cubes in order to discover new species tiles. And so when you discover those new species tiles, they will be added to the board. When you add tiles to the board, that's when you will gain victory points and collect cards with special abilities and scoring opportunities and advance the Beagle through the islands. As the Beagle goes through the islands, points will be earned by fulfilling objectives. We'll see what those are in just a minute. And then when the Beagle gets all the way to the end, that will signal the end of the game. And the game ends immediately when the Beagle arrives at the end of the journey. So on a player's turn, they can do one of two actions. They can either research the habitats of species already on the board, and so that's where you would be placing your observation cubes on the tiles in order to have access to the resources printed on the tiles. Or they can discover the natural history of a new species using observation cubes from previous research. So where you have cubes on these tiles, you would be able to fulfill the requirements of various cards. So this card, for instance, needs knowledge about 3 water habitats, 1 air habitat, and 3 of any habitat. This one needs 4 land habitat and 4 aquatic habitat. And you would collect those by placing your cubes on these tiles. Once you get these tiles, you'll score the points and gain the cards and advance the Beagle. And during your turn, you might also play any number of cards that you have collected. And during your turn, players might also play any number of cards that they have collected throughout the game. The game is really not complicated and in fact appears very simple at first glance, but is actually quite a thinky game that requires very much thinking ahead. The solo game was designed by Ricky over at Box of Delights, and I will provide links in the description to his YouTube channel and also where you can find the rules online. I will also provide a link to a Board Game Geek forum post where you can ask questions that you have and where other people have asked questions. You can see what other people have asked and gotten their answers. So just in case you're confused about any of the rules as you play through this on your own. All right, let's see how we get set up. So I think the first thing we're going to do is lay out the cards up here. These are the habitat cards, these green, yellow, and blue backed cards. In the regular game, these will go face down on each of these spaces. In the advanced game and in the solo game, these will be face up. So give these a little bit of a shuffle. Having these face up during the game mitigates a little bit of the luck factor involved with drawing cards. Oh, we want that map. That's good. We need to get that before Charlie, our solo automa, gets it. All right, and then these are the Beagle cards. They have, we'll take a look. Some of them contain books. These are involved in endgame scoring. Some of them contain people that give you special abilities, and some of them contain resources that you can use. These are one-time use cards to discover new species. So I think that covers the range of those. So I'll give these a little bit of a shuffle. Now 3 of these will be placed face up, and the rest will be placed face down. In a multiplayer game, your cards are usually kept secret. Of course, in the solo game, I will keep mine all face up. So these 3 are face up. If you get a Beagle card, you could choose from the face up cards, or you can just draw from the deck. The solo automa will draw from the deck when he gets Beagle cards. All right, next up, let's figure out what our objectives are. So we have these Darwin's Journal cards. Now there's actually cards numbered 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The 0 cards, as we'll see in a minute, give us our variable setup conditions, where these starting tiles are placed on the board. Numbers 1 through 3 will give us during game objectives and also provide us in the advanced game and in the solo game with goals for specific species tiles to collect. So give these a little shuffle. All right, so our first goal, this would be common to both me and the solo automa. It's dated September 20th through 21st, 1835, exploring the north of Chatham. So right here we have Chatham Island. And so on those dates, Darwin would have been exploring Chatham Island, or the north of Chatham Island. And what this says is the player who has the most observation tiles on species tiles with that little feather symbol representing the air habitat, first place will get 4 points, second place will get 3 points. Oh, and I almost forgot the picture of the species on here. This is specific to the solo player, so I will be looking to collect 6 specific tiles during the game that will provide me a range of points, all the way from just 2 points if I only manage to collect one tile, all the way up to 20 points if I can manage to collect all 6 tiles. And the individual value of the tiles varies. It increases the more tiles you collect. So this is our first objective here. I will also draw one of these as a species objective. So we're going to ignore everything else on this card and just look at the weevil that's on here. So I want to collect that weevil as one of the 6 goals for collecting tiles. For our second objective, give these a little shuffle. We have September 29th, 1835, Elizabeth Bay, Albemarle. I don't know why that's so hard to pronounce. September 29th, here we go, right over here. And that objective says that when the beagle gets to that location, whoever made the beagle advance to that location will get 2 points. Right. Oh, wait, almost forgot. And for my species objective, I have this very interesting looking fish that I cannot remember the name of, but we'll encounter it when we get to the tiles. The name will be on there. So we'll put that over there with my other one. And then for our third objective, We have October 20th, 1835. It's a big jump in dates. Wow, almost all the way to the end of the game. So just a couple spaces from the end. Whoever advances the beagle to that space will get 4 points. That's quite a lot in this game. All right, and then for my species objective, the red-footed booby. I'm not as familiar with the red-footed booby, but the blue-footed booby, I just love their courtship dance because the males show off, they do a dance where they show off their blue feet to the females. Presumably she's looking for the bluest of blue feet, and we'll choose a male based partly on that, probably on his dance moves as well. All right, and let's look at the species here that I'm also looking to collect. So I have another fish, a Galapagos mockingbird, and a type of, looks like a skipper or a butterfly there. And the species names actually, oh look, it's right on top. What is that? Hemiargus ramon, probably named after the person who discovered it. I don't know the common name for that one. All right, so we have our cards laid out, we have our objectives. These are public objectives, so the solo automa will be looking to interfere with our ability to collect these particular species tiles. The solo automa is blind to these objectives over here off to the side. Now we go over to the Darwin's Journal 4 cards, give those a little shuffle, and this will give us our end game scoring. And so 1836 Cape Town, what it says is, this card is titled Progression, and for each habitat type, players are going to get points for the total books collected as shown. So if we have a total number of 9 or more, we'll get 10 points, all the way down to if we only manage to collect one book, which is incredibly unlikely, we would only get 2 points. So it would not be unusual to collect 9 or more books, so probably we'll both get 10 points for that. But that goes right here. We have our scoring markers placed in the starting spot. Our observation cubes down here, we need to figure out where our starting tiles are going to be placed, so we'll give these Darwin's Journal 0 cards a little shuffle. And let's see. We have the coral goes in the top left of the board. The calandrinia goes in the far left middle, and the acacia smack dab in the middle of the board. So those are our starting tiles. They each have one resource on them. These tiles cannot be collected during the game, so they will always stay on the board. There's always resources available. Let's, I already kind of shuffled these, but let's give them each a little bit more shuffle, and then we'll lay out our cards on the evolution track over here. Okay, so I'm going to choose this bottom tile, bottom stack of tiles, and lay these out. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these. I'm actually just going to put them down here first off because these are going to be arranged. And these actually have to go the other way around so that we can see what their cost is. We're going to put these off to the side in roughly 3 equal stacks. Sort of equal. All right, and then for these ones, turn these over. And we're going to arrange them according to their levels. So down in the bottom left corner there, there's a number. This is a level 1 card, or level 1 tile, and it's the only one we have. It goes all the way down at the bottom. Level 4 tiles go up at the top. And then level 3 below those, and another level 3, and level 2. All right, the most important thing about the order that these are arranged in is that the top 3 of these have a map symbol next to them. So I will need a map in order to discover those species. Charlie, our solo automa opponent, does not need a map. It's just assumed he has a map already. There is a map on top of one of these stacks of cards, so I'm going to be looking to try to get that as soon as possible. So this is the blue stack. I actually have, you can't see it, but right above the board. Let me see if I can move this down just a wee bit. So I actually have these little colored meeples to remind me, since these are upside down, the color that's on the other side of these cards. So these are our yellow-backed cards, our blue-backed cards, and our green-backed cards. All right, I think that means we are ready to go. Maybe the last thing I'll do is just point out the anatomy of one of these tiles. So what I'm looking to do is collect enough resources to pay this amount that's across the top. In this case, it's 3 water, 2 earth, and 2 of any habitat type. So that's representing the knowledge of those habitat types that I have. And then I would be able to collect, I would be able to discover this species, which is Xylophus wolbachii. I'm not sure I pronounced that right, but there you go. It'll be worth 3 points when it is placed on the board. I will be able to choose between either a blue-backed card or a green-backed card, habitat cards. Our solo Automa opponent, Charlie, actually gets both of those cards. And then whoever discovers this species will also get a beagle card and advance the beagle 2 spaces. So that's what one of these tiles looks like. When they're placed on the board, they would be turned over so that the resources that are available on them would then be shown face up. Okay. All right, I think that we are now ready to go. So before we continue, I just want to say what's happening with Charlie. So the solo player goes first, and then we alternate turns throughout the game. What's happening with Charlie is he has a list of conditions over whether he will place an observation cube or whether he will discover a species, so whether he will do research or whether he will discover. And if he's going to place a cube, he has a list of, so I've printed these off on a piece of paper that I have handy nearby. This is only my second solo game, my 3rd time playing this game. I'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, he's got Charlie's research action. He has from highest priority to lowest priorities, the tiles that he'll select. So basically, he's looking for the tile that has the highest net number of cubes. So my cubes, the number of my cubes minus his cubes, that's his highest priority. Second priority is the tile that generates the most resources. Third down the priority list is the tile with the most adjacent empty spaces. Fourth, we don't usually get to 4th down the priority list, at least I didn't very much in my only solo game so far, and that is the tile that generates the most resources Charlie has the least of on both tiles and cards. And then finally, I never actually got down to this one in my last game, the tile that the soloist selects. So basically, if you're out of, if none of those priority indicators apply, or they all apply equally, I guess, then I can actually just choose what tile he chooses to put his observation cubes on. And then his discovery action follows regular rules, so he still has to pay for everything, but he doesn't need a map. He always has access to something called a scalpel tool, and what that allows him to do is, let's say there's a level 1 species on the board, he can actually, well, that's a bad example. Let's actually do a level 4 species, because this is when he's most likely to use it. So let's say there's a level 4 species on the board. He can actually replace that tile with another level 4 species. Normally, you would need a species that is 1 level higher, but he's always able to replace a species on the board. It doesn't matter what level it is. Now, he'll only use the scalpel tool if he needs to in order to replace a species. It makes it so that I can't block his ability to replace a level 4 species. He's going to first prioritize a species tile he can legally afford to put into play, and we're going to work from the top of the evolution track downwards when making that decision. So based on the resources he has available to him, because of the observation cubes he has placed, he would be able to purchase, 1 or more of these species, and whichever one is furthest up the track, basically which one gives him the most points, is the one that he will choose first. Now, this does allow us a little bit of insight into what Charlie's next actions will be. And there's a limited amount of ways that we can manipulate that without hurting ourselves too much. And then there's some rules here that we'll encounter when we get there, I'll talk about them more when we get there the first time or two, is that he uses when he's selecting which square to place a tile and how he pays for the tile, and then rewards that he collects. And at the end of the game, Charlie will score 3 points for each species tile he has managed to collect to his play area on the board. And like I said, mine will depend on whether they match these objectives and how many of them total that I've collected. Another way to get endgame points is by collecting books that we will find on the cards here. And cards are collected when you collect species. The higher the level of that species, the better the cards are that you collect, or the more cards are that you collect. All right, so I get to go first. Let's see. One of the rules I didn't go over is that I can only place a species tile adjacent to the tiles from which I removed cubes to use those resources. So it looks like I want either a species that uses land and air, or land and water, or water and air. So, well, this one here, I'm just going to call it a skipper because that's what it looks like. This skipper down here needs 2 of any resource, so that's great. One of us will be able to get that right away, and since I go first, I should be able to get to it first. This one requires 4 air. This one requires 3 water and 2 of anything, and then some more that we won't be able to get till a little later in the game. So I have to place 2 cubes. They have to be on 2 separate tiles. So mostly I'm thinking about where do I want to put this skipper when it goes out. It's going to have 1 resource available on the other side, and that resource is likely to be an air resource. So I think I actually would like that to be maybe up here. Maybe I want it to be up here. So, or no, it can't be up there. It can either be in one of these 3 spaces. That's it. Or these 2. Nope. Actually, it'll only be able to go in one of these 3 spaces. So I'm thinking maybe I want to be able to put it over there. So we'll put my cubes on those. Now, when Charlie's deciding where to put cubes, the first thing he's going to look at is, where do I have cubes? And he wants to basically follow in my footsteps because presumably I'm going for something good, right? So he will place cubes there. Technically, what I'm doing is I'm taking my number of cubes, subtracting how many he has, and whatever the highest number is, that's where he wants to go. So I already have 2 cubes, enough to get this skipper, and I am going to place it here. I remove my cubes. I'm paying 2 of anything, so 1 water and 1 air. And I get 1, oh, Charlie, by the way, as the second player, starts with 1 point. So I get 1 point for my discovery of that species. I get 1 yellow-backed air card. So that's going to give me, let's see, I can put those up here. That's going to give me 3 books at the end of the game. And I also advance the beagle 1 space. All right. Next, Charlie is going to go. I removed one of his cubes. Oops. I need to do live playthroughs so you guys can yell at me. Okay, so he has 2. I need to replace, first I need to, before Charlie goes, now I need to replace that species card, and I get to decide what goes out. I mean, I would anyway because it's my turn. I need to look and see, what do I need? I need to collect this because that's a species card I want. So one thing I'm thinking is I kind of want to get a level 1 card out there that Charlie is going to be able to get soon that I don't need, because he is not going to replace this level 1 card with another level 1 card unless he has to. So actually I don't want anything that requires, maybe one that requires water and land, or maybe land and 2 of anything. So that's going to be an easy one for him to get. Now it's giving him a point, but I'm trying to get him not to collect this skipper card because that's going to give me points at the end of the game. It's a level 1 card, so it goes all the way at the bottom. Now it is Charlie's turn. He has 2 of anything, but that's not going to get him any of these tiles, so he will place cubes instead. These technically have -1 as their priority number, so he's going to put 1 here on the Calandrinia, and then I get to choose because these are both equal now And I'm going to choose the acacia because I really don't want him to put anything up here. Okay, now it is my turn. He is going to be able to get this tile on his next turn, this ant here. So that's good for me. I'm looking to try and replace this skipper so that I can collect it over into my play area. So I need at least a level 2 card, and I'm going to try and get the one that's easiest to get. So probably for me that's going to be this one that requires 3 water and 2 of anything. And they are going to have to be adjacent to that tile. All right, Charlie's turn. He has 2 of anything and 1 land, so he is going to discover this ant species. It has to go here because that is the only location that is adjacent to both of those tiles. So he's going to remove this and these 2, and he gets 1 point. And he collects a green-backed card, so he gets some books in his area. Let's put those over here. And he's going to advance the beagle 1 space. All right, now it is, oh, and then let's turn these over. So now they are showing the resources that exist on those. So I am, now when I'm trying to replace this, I can use that tile, resources from that tile towards its replacement as well. And again, I'm going, oh, whoops, I got to replace that. I keep forgetting to replace that species card. So let's see, I'm going to try and manipulate Charlie a little bit to be going for this level 1 card here that requires 2 land knowledge. All right, so his turn. He is definitely putting a cube here on the acacia because number of my cubes minus his cubes is 1, so that has a priority number of 1. This has a priority number of 0, so does this. He then will go to whatever has the most resources. They all have 1. His next is the tile with the most adjacent empty spaces. 2, 2. This one he's already put a tile on though, so he can't go there, but it does have 4 adjacent empty spaces. Everything has 2 adjacent, oh, this one has 3, so he'll put a cube here on our skipper. No, get away, Charlie, go away. All right, so again, keeping an eye on what it is I want to do. I need 3 water and 2 of anything. So I'm going to go up here because I have to. Now Charlie's going to end up putting a cube up there. And then I am going to come down here to the ant because I'm trying to manipulate him into using his cubes for this weevil. So the weevil is great. I want that out on the board because it is one of my private objective species. And so once it's on the board, then I could collect it. It doesn't matter who places it on the board. It matters which tiles I have in my play area at the end of the game. I just went, so now it's Charlie's turn. Does he have enough resources to get anything? He does not, so he's going to place cubes. And he's going to put 1 here for sure because that priority number is 1, and he'll put 1 over here because that also has a priority number of 1. Yeah, and so the second would be which gives him the most resources, and then the third deciding factor is what has the most empty spaces around it. So there we go. And now it's my turn. I still only have 2 of the water habitat, and I need 3, so I'm going to put 1 cube up here, and I'm going to put my other cube down here on the ant because I want Charlie to put a cube on the ant. And I'm trying to make it so that, yeah, I will be able to get there first. Okay, so that was my turn. Now it is Charlie's turn. He doesn't have 2 on land. He doesn't have 4 on the air. And he doesn't yet have 3 on the water, and they just get more expensive as we go up there. So so he can't get any of those. So now it's, so he's going to place cubes. He'll place 1 cube here on the ant and 1 cube up here on the, what is that anyway? Coral, on the coral. All right, so now it's my turn, and I believe, have enough now to get this hydra, or to discover this hydra. I don't get to collect it. To discover the hydra, I have 3 water. Let's take a look. I have 3 water. I'll remove those. And 2 of anything. So Charlie's not going to replace that, but 2 of anything. I'm just going to take 1 from here and 1 from here. I should probably be looking at this objective. Oh, so actually, well, and I should look and see what's out here. Maybe I'll leave that 1 on the air and I'll just take them both off the land. Okay, so that was my 2 of anything. 3 water, 2 of any habitat. And now I'm going to take this and replace, this is a level 2 card. This skipper here is a level 1 card tile. Sorry, I keep calling them cards. Tile. So I'm going to replace this skipper with this hydra. Now, Charlie has a cube on here. He gets that returned to him, but he gets a point for me doing that. And I get to now put this over in my play area. So that's great. I'm going to put it down here. Can you see that okay? Let's see. All right, and I get 2 points for discovering that species and 1 blue-backed card, which gives me my map. This map now is going to allow me to discover species that are in these top 3 spots. So let's see, where can I put, let's put the map right here. It's useful. We have limited space. I can probably move this board over just a wee bit because Charlie doesn't need as much space as I do for cards. So these are going to be my book cards. There's my useful cards. These are my species objectives. I can actually overlap these a little bit. Let's do that. We only need to be able to see the picture of the species. Okay, and my tiles, can move that up a little bit where you can still see the meeples. Okay. Maybe I'll do that. So I've got that one. I'll put it underneath the objective that I fulfilled. Okay, and then, so I collected my blue card. No, I did not yet. So the blue card, oh yes I did. That was what gave me my map. Okay, and then I get a beagle card. So let's see, this one gives me resources. This one is Conrad Martin's. Let's see what that gives me. Martin's, move 2 species tiles 1 space. This may replace lower level tiles. Oh, that's useful. And then here we have Sims Covington. Move 2 observation cubes. Now that could be really useful if you suddenly, if Charlie were to take a tile that I was going for and now he took it and now I need to do a little rearranging, so that could be useful. But man, the resources at this point in the game seem extremely useful. But actually this lets me, so Conrad Martin's is going to let me move tiles and I can use that maybe to collect tiles that I need to fulfill objectives. So I'm going to take that one and put it right here. And I can use those cards at any time during my turn. I could even use it on this turn if I wanted to, but I don't want to right now. Okay, so now I'm going to turn this over. Oh, wait, and the beagle moves 1. So he's now up to September 16th. So turn that over, and that has 2 water habitat on it. Okay, and now we need to replace the species tile. Let's see. Well, if I put out this beetle, Charlie will be able to get that right away. Don't necessarily want him to get that right away. So my other choice here is this snail. This snail is pretty cool. I shouldn't look at it. If I put it out, I'll tell you a little bit about it. That requires 1 water habitat and 2 of anything. He could get that one right away as well. This level 4, it'll be a while before either one of us can get to that one. So let's see, none of those fulfill species objectives. What's our objective? Our first objective is whoever has the most on air habitat. So maybe I want to put out one where he might use air habitat. So maybe I will put out the snail. Okay, so I'm going to put out the snail over here. The name of this snail is, oh goodness, it's got a long name. Plecopurpura patula panza. Oh no, Plecopurpura platula panza. Anyway, this species, well, related species, so I'm not so sure of this one in particular, but they actually produce this purple ink that they use as a defensive mechanism, but that humans have used. It's called Tyrian purple or Tyronian. Anyway, that's going to come over here. It's a level 1, so it's actually going to come down here. It'll go above this other level 1, but below the level 2. All right, so now that was my turn. We're going to go to Charlie's turn. He actually has enough that he can get the weevil, but I think he also has enough that he can get this snail, and he will always go for the one that is furthest up the track. So it doesn't matter that these are both level 1, he will go for that one. So he does have 1 water and then 2 of anything. He can't replace the Hydra because it's a level 2 card and this is just a level 1 card. So he could go here or he could go here. So when he's making a decision, Charlie will prioritize the first species tile that he can legally afford to put into play. We already did that from the top of the evolution track downwards. Once a tile is chosen, when we're selecting a square on which to place the tile, he's going to replace if he can. So he can't, because this is just a level 1 tile. And given multiple squares he could possibly place the tile, he will place on the square that loses him the fewest number of resources. So that's not an issue, because these all have only 1 resource on him, so he's going to lose 3 cubes total. What's his next priority? Charlie will only use resources from cards if he must. He doesn't have any resources on cards right now. Given more than 1 equally viable square, Charlie will choose the square with the most adjacent empty squares, and so that's going to be this one here near Abington Island. So he's going to take this snail, putting it on Abington. It's going to cost him all 3 of these cubes off of the coral, so he gets those back. He does get 1 point for that, and he gets a blue backed card, so he gets yet more books. So I'm just going to put his books right here. I guess I can keep them spread out until he has too many for that. And then the beagle's going to move 1 space forward. So it's getting awfully close to our first objective, where I really want to be the player with the most cubes on air habitats. So we're going to turn the snail over, and it is water habitat. So this is an aquatic snail. Okay, so that was Charlie's turn. He's done discovering a species, and now it is my turn. First I have to put out a tile. So he's no longer in the running for this beetle. I might be able to get that just by simply putting a cube on the Hydra. So I'm going to put this one out. Okay, so that was Charlie's turn. Let's see, my turn. I am definitely putting 1 cube on the Hydra because I'm looking to get this beetle here. And I also want to be the one with the most cubes on air habitat whenever the beagle makes it to our first objective. So I'm going to put 1 on the acacia. Unfortunately, that means Charlie is also going to put 1 on the acacia. I'm not good enough at this game yet to plan ahead on making it me when that gets there. I guess I would have to be the one to advance it. So, which I might be actually. Okay, so now it is Charlie's turn. He's definitely putting 1 on the Hydra, and he's putting 1 on the acacia, because when we subtract the number of cubes I have, or subtract the number of cubes he has from the number of cubes that I have, both of these had a priority number of 1. That has a -2, and the rest of these have a 0. Okay, so that was Charlie's turn. What I'm looking at is this first objective here, where I want to be the player who has the most cubes on the air habitat, and there's only 1 of those right now. I want to force Charlie to move the beagle, and it will allow me, so I could get the beetle right now, but then that would move the beagle up, and we would split the points for first and second place. I don't want that to happen. Instead, I'm kind of looking forward here to this red-footed booby. I want to get that on the board because it's one of my private objectives. And I need 3 water habitat, 2 air habitat, and 1 land habitat. I do definitely want to have more cubes on this land habitat. Oh, how is that going to work? I would have to replace this Hydra for this to work. Okay, that's okay. I'm going to put 1 here on the air, and then I'm going to put, oh dear, it's going to take 2 turns for this to happen for me. I'm going to put one here on the land. All right, so it's Charlie's turn. Let's see, he has enough to get this beetle because he has 2 aquatic habitat. He also has 2 land, but the beetle he's going to prioritize because it's higher up in the evolution track. So he's going to place this here because this is the square that has the most empty squares around it. Oh wait, no, he can't do that because it needs water. He is going to place it here because it needs 2 water habitat. He's going to use this cube to pay for it. And he gets 1 point for that. Oh, he's zooming ahead. He gets 1 blue book and moves the beagle 1. So I manipulated him into doing this. We take this and put it on this objective to show that that bottom one anyway has been fulfilled. Maybe we'll put it down here. So September 20th to 21st, 1835. Exploring the north of Chatham. So I just want to read, this is what you get on this channel, right? A little bit of biology. So I just want to read just 1 paragraph out of The Voyage of the Beagle. So it says, so he's in exploring the north of Chatham, and it says, I'm going to read this one here. The day on which I visited the little craters was glowing hot, and the scrambling over the rough surface and through the intricate thickets was very fatiguing. But I was well repaid by the cyclopean scene. In my walk, I met 2 large tortoises, each of which must have weighed at least 200 pounds. One was eating a piece of cactus, and when I approached, it looked at me and then quietly walked away. The other gave a deep hiss and drew in its head. These huge reptiles, surrounded by the black lava, the leafless shrubs, and large cacti, appeared to my fancy like some antediluvian animals. There you have it. That's what was going on in Darwin's mind. Probably that was, given where that was in the book, that was probably September 21st. Okay. So now we're going to score for that objective, and I have the most cubes on the air habitat, so I get 4 points. And Charlie has second most with 2, so he gets 3 points. 1, 2, 3. All right, so that was, and he also gets 1 point. All right, so now we turn over this beetle, and that's going to give us 1 aquatic habitat to study. All right, my turn. So for my turn, I need to put out the species card as usual. Let's put out a level 3. So we need to move down that, and that, and that. Ends up here. Thank goodness I have a map. All right. So I have my eye on this seal here, and I need 3 aquatic, 2 land, and 2 of anything. So I am going to put 1, and I know I want to put it here because I need to use both of these tiles. So I'll put 1 up here on the coral and 1 down here on the land. Now it is Charlie's turn. Charlie has enough here to get this weevil. He did before, but it wasn't up in his priority, but now it is, and it'll go here on this space that has the most empty spaces around it, and he needs 2 land habitat knowledge, so he will take off both of these, and he gets 1 point for that, and a green card, the land knowledge card. This is going to give him 2 resources. So he doesn't use these preferentially, but he will use them if he has to. So let's see, I should put this where you can see them. Put that right there. Okay, so let's see, and then he moves the beagle 1. So does that, and then that gets turned over. So now it is my turn. I believe I have enough. Oh, I keep almost forgetting to replace the species tile. So let's do a level 2. I'm kind of avoiding cluttering this up with level 4s just yet. So we're going to put this Galapagos mockingbird here. We're going to move down this, some sort of a little warbler. There we go. Okay, and I believe I have enough to get this to discover this seal. So 3 water, boom, boom, 2 land, these 2 right here. Oh, I don't, and 2 of anything. I thought I was being so smart by putting that cube up there, but I wasn't really. So I still need, I only have 1 cube, so I'll show you what happens when that happens. I only have 1 cube. I still need 1 additional resource. So I'm going to put it way over here. And the reason for that is I'm trying to lure Charlie to spread himself out kind of thin and maybe be a little more over here. There's still no species on here that I need. That's not true. So I actually need this weevil here. That's one of my private objectives. So Charlie won't try to interfere with that, but he could just totally on accident. But anyway, let's, so by luring Charlie over here and up here and over here, I'm keeping him away from being able to replace that weevil. So anyway, it's his turn. He, priority number of 1, 1, 1, 1, and 2. So he definitely places a cube here on that ant. I need to remember to try and uncover that art when I can, because Amelia Sales did such an amazing job on this artwork. So he put 1 on the ant. He has to choose a different tile. These all have a priority number of 1. Then he'll go for the one that gives him the most resources, and that is the Hydra up here. All right, so now it is my turn. I forgot to check if he could get anything, but no, he couldn't. I didn't think he could in the back of my head. It's kind of easy to kind of keep track of this. All right, so for my turn, I now can get this seal. I use 2 water. Here's my 3rd water. 2 land. No, I don't. Let's see. I need a total of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm still only at 6. I think I forgot to move my 2nd cube last time because I would have had enough. I did not move a cube on my last turn, so Charlie has gone since then, so that would have changed the decision he made. So I'm going to remove his cubes. I'm going to back up because where my cubes are matters. So I placed 1 cube last time, I believe over here on the Calandrinia, but I did not move a cube. I don't have any more cubes to place, and so I need to move 1 to one of these tiles that's adjacent to this space. Man, a lot of maneuvering to get this seal, but it is worth 3 points. So I'm going to move a cube off of this acacia. And I think I want to, so I'm trying to lure Charlie away from this weevil. So I'm going to put it way up here by this, on this coral. Okay, now back to Charlie's turn. I had taken back his cube, so he's starting fresh. So we have priority number of 0, 2, 2, 1, and 1. So he's going to place a cube here on the ant, and up here on the coral is where he wants to place cubes. All right, now it is my turn. I knew that I was supposed to have enough cubes. So it's a total of 7 resources. 3 water, 1, 2, 3 water. So I took 1 off of here, 1 off of here. There's my 3 water. 2 land, 1, 2, and 2 of anything. So 1 water and 1 land. All right, so there's my 7 resources. Whew, finally. Sorry if that was confusing. It is only my 2nd time playing this solo game. It's my 3rd time playing this game, so I still need to get it ingrained in me exactly what to do. So anyway, place the seal here. I do get 3 points. 1, 2, 3. I finally caught up with Charlie. Now this, let me show you this up close. Let's see, make it focus. Okay. It is showing you these 2 cards right here. It is showing you these 2 cards right here. And what that means when they look like a pair that's next to each other where they're touching is I get to choose one of those. So I can choose either green or blue. Oh, that's a tough decision, but I think I want books because whoever Well, I'm likely to have, let's see, what does Charlie have? He's got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books. I've only got three books right now, so I think I'm going to take the books. All right, so now I'm up to 5. I want to make sure that I get at least 10 books because I'm pretty sure Charlie will easily have at least 10 books, and we want to keep up with him on points there. All right, I also get a Beagle card. Oops, forgot to replace this last time. So let's see what we have. We have, oh, Robert Fitzroy. That would be the captain of the ship. Let's see. Move one of your observation cubes, then move the Beagle twice. That can be useful because we have objectives coming up that involve getting points based on who gets the Beagle to that spot first. So I think that's my best bet. This middle one gives me resources, which is always good, but I think being able to move the Beagle twice is pretty good. And then, let's see, Covington, we looked at that one before, but I didn't remember. Move 2 observation cubes. Okay, so I'm going to take Captain Fitzroy, Robert Fitzroy, and again, that is going to let me move one of my observation cubes and then move the Beagle twice. So put that there. Okay, so that's my Beagle. Now I move the Beagle twice. 1, 2. He's all the way up to September 24th and September 25th. Okay, so that was my turn. Got my points and all that. We turn over the seal. Now it is worth a lot of resources. Now it, oh no, replace this. We'll do a level 2 fish. I forget what that fish is called. Okay, Charlie's turn. He does not have enough. He almost, no, 2 water. He does not have enough right now. Oh, but he does have 2, I forget about this, 2 land resources. I hope I didn't mess up earlier. Here he needs 2 of anything, 2 land, so he has 2 land, 1 air, and 2 of anything. So he can actually do this. I don't think he would have been able to last time because he just put that ant one there. So he can get this mockingbird. And what's more, he prioritizes replacing tiles. So we'll have to look at the rules for that because we might be in danger of him replacing this weevil as much as I've been trying to make that not happen. Okay, so let's see. How does he... So we know he's getting this mockingbird because that's furthest up and he can afford it. Charlie will replace if he can, prioritizing replacing non-starting tiles above starting tiles. So he has 2 viable ones, the ant and the weevil. And, so he will prioritize objective species tiles. I forgot about that. Darn you, Charlie. Above anything else, even if doing so is more costly than placing the tile in an empty square. So he will, oh no, he does not know that I need that. So, oh, public and private. Oh, well, how does he know my private objectives? Charlie, spying on my cards. Okay, so he's going to prioritize this weevil, unfortunately, so he gets that. He's going to replace it with this mockingbird, and the reason he can do that, this is a level 1 tile. We know that because it has 1 resource, and this is a level 2 tile, so it can replace that level 1. So he gets that. He also gets, he uses this card, so that goes discarded. He gets 2 points. All right, and he gets both of these cards. He doesn't have to choose, so he gets a yellow card and a green card. So that gives him the resource, replaces the resources he just used. Let's see. So I guess I can put, you can see his tiles if they're down there. Okay. I'll put his resources there. There's his big old fat stack of books. Okay. I lost to him spectacularly on my first turn, but I'm hoping to do better this time. Although it's actually harder to play when I have to talk out loud through the whole thing. But there you go. It's still fun to do. I forgot to replace this Beagle card earlier. All right, so he got his green card and his yellow card. He also gets a Beagle card, so we'll just draw a random one. He does not use the people abilities, so we'll just set this off to the side over there, but he doesn't use that ability. And he moves the Beagle 1 time, so there we go. So we're within 2 of that, so let's turn that over, the mockingbird over. Do I need the mockingbird? Oh, the mockingbird is one of the species we're trying to go after as well. But now the beagle is within 2 spaces of the objective. So I either want to be able to place, to discover a species, to place it on the board and get 2 points, or I want to use my Captain Fitzroy card to move the beagle 2 spaces. That's rather thematic. But replace that species tile first. I'm going to replace it with this lava lizard. And, oh, wait. It's a level 2, it goes above all the other level 2s. Okay. Wow, all we've got left now over here to choose from to replace tiles are level 4s. Okay, I'm going to use it's my turn. I'm going to use this Captain Fitzroy card, Beagle card? Yeah, Beagle card, to move any cube, right? Move one of my observation cubes, and then I move the beagle twice. So which observation cube? Let's stick that right there for now. Let's see, what am I going for? I've got 2 cubes out here on air. I could be looking for 2 water, and that would let me replace that species, and it would get me 2 points. And Charlie is close to being able to do that, and he could do it because if he has to, he'll use the scalpel to replace that Hydra, I believe. I'll double check that, but I'm not anywhere near getting that one. Not very near getting, see, that one I could use to replace the Hydra, but it doesn't really do me any good to replace tiles that are not objectives. I don't get points for those. So I want to replace that mockingbird. So I guess I don't really want the fish. What I really want is this little warbler down here. That can't, nope, I don't want the warbler because that can't replace the mockingbird. So back up here, these all need water. Oh dear. I don't have the right resources, but if I get this blue card, I would have the resources. So let's go back to thinking about, that doesn't give me a blue card. This gives me a blue card. And that would be replacing that beetle. So I need 2 water and 2 air. I already have 2 air, so I need 2 water. So let's do that. Here's my 2 water. I need to choose a different tile. I'm working up to getting this red-footed booby, and I also want to get that on the board because that's one of my objectives. I've already got let's see, that's going to use 2 air. So that's going to still need 2 air. Can I reuse the frigate bird? 2 air, that needs 2 air as well. Yeah, because I need something that only has 2 water resources, but this one will also give me a beagle card. So that will get me that, which gives me 1 air and 1 land. Are you thoroughly confused yet? Because I'm starting to get there. I think that will help me out towards that booby. Okay, so 1 land, 1 air. So I want to put the other one here on the air. All right. Trust me, I think it works out unless I've really messed it up. And now I can still use my card. You can use your card at any point during your turn. So I'm going to use this card. I can use it to move a cube. Do I have to move a cube? Move one of your observation cubes. It kind of sounds like I have to. I don't really want to. Are these, okay, I'm going to look up in the rules to see if I have to perform all the actions on a card or if any part of them are optional. Playing a card is always optional, but if a player decides to play a card, they must apply all of its effects. Okay, so I guess I have to move a cube. What is Charlie going to do on his turn? Because that matters. He can't get the warbler. He can't get the fish. He can't get the lizard, which means he also can't get any of these because they start to get progressively more expensive. Okay, so he's not actually going to move the beagle on his next turn, so maybe I won't use Captain Fitzroy yet. I'll save him for my next turn. I might not even need him. I might already be able to move the beagle. Okay, so Charlie is going to take his turn. My turn's done. This has a priority of 1, so he will put cubes on both of those places. All right, so now it is my turn. I can now get, I believe, this funny looking fish. It looks like a flying fish. I'm not a fish person. I don't know a ton about fish. But maybe I'll write a blog about this game, blog post about this game. If I do, I'll put the link in the description, and maybe I'll talk about some of these species. Okay, so 2 water, boom, and 2 air. Got those. Okay, so I can get this species. I used cubes from these 2 tiles here, so I can use this to replace that beetle. I don't really need the beetle, but what I do need are the rewards that this card gives. So that's why I did that. And I get 2 points. So it catches me up to Charlie. I get to choose either a blue card or a yellow card. I definitely want the blue card because that's going to give me 2 water knowledge, water habitat knowledge. Okay, can you see that? Yeah. And beagle card, I'm going to choose this one in the middle because I am going to need 3 water habitat knowledge in order to get that red-footed booby on the board. Do that and replace, that gets replaced. And then I get to move the beagle 1. And now I think Charlie on his next turn is going to be able to, oh, these get to move down. I think he's going to be able to get something. Oh, no, he's not actually. 1, 2, 3. Oh, maybe. Nope. Nope, he won't be able to get anything. Oh, wait, he has 2 land? 1 land. Yeah, he will. He's going to be able to get that lizard. Okay, so we have only level 4 tiles. So it will go all the way up to the top. Which one do we want to put out? Are any of these species I need? They are not. Maybe put out the Galapagos flamingo or the Galapagos hawk. Which one? Well, maybe we should start making a dent in this. Well, let's see. What's Charlie got? Ooh, he's closest to getting the hawk, I think. No, maybe the flamingo. He's pretty close to either one. This one requires 5, 7, 9 resources. The other one requires 8. So I guess we'll put the hawk up here. Okay. So that was, now we turn this over. Okay, so now it's Charlie's turn, and I think I discovered that he can get this lava lizard. So it requires 3 land, but he does have this card that gives him 1, he has 1 land for his ant, and then 2 for the card, and then 2 of anything. And so he has these air habitat knowledge over here, and he can use, this is a level 2, he can use that to replace that ant, which is a level 1, so that gets discarded. He uses that and 2 of these, and he will replace the ant. He gets 3 points for every tile that he has at the end of the game. So put those across the bottom here. Okay, so he gets 2 points for that. Man, he keeps just zooming ahead of me. 1 green card, so some more books for Charlie. Beagle card, beagle card. Scalpel. So when he has a scalpel, he'll actually use it as soon as is possible. So we'll put that right there. It's the only card where he actually does use the effect on it. And again, he'll use it as soon as possible. And then he moves. Oh, I forgot to use my card. Well, that's silly me. That's what I get. Okay, so you know, if we were live streaming, people would be yelling at me in the chat. I need to figure out how to do that. Need to get some more subscribers first. So there you go. So we're at September 29th. That's here, and he just straight up gets 2 points. If I lose by 2 points, it's because I forgot to use Captain Fitzroy. Well, let's make sure to not forget it for the 4-pointer, and that's way up here. Okay. So that was everything for the lizard. So that gets turned over now. All right, so my turn. Nope, first we have to lay out a species. Let's put out this moth, the gaudy moth. I think that's its name, if I remember correctly. It's really pretty. So now it is my turn. What am I going for? I'm going for that blue-footed booby. I have 3 water. I have 2 air, because I have 1 on the board and 1 on this card. And I have 1 land. So with this card and this 1 cube here, I have enough to get the blue-footed booby. And that is going to allow me to replace this mockingbird, which is one of my objectives. So I get to put that over here. Whoops, put it underneath here. Okay, and this card gets discarded. I get 3 points. Oh, it doesn't even catch me up to Charlie. I get either a blue card or a yellow card. So either, oh, I already have a map. So maybe I will go for a blue card, the books here. Okay, and then I get a beagle card. Oh, look, it's more resources. It's one of each of the resources. So put that. Oh, whoops, I needed to discard this as well. So remember, I just used this card that had one of each resource. I needed to also discard this one that had the 2 water because I needed a total of 3 water. Okay, so I just have the 1 resource card that has one of each resource. And then I advance the beagle 2 spaces, 1, 2, to October 2nd. And now it is Charlie's turn. So this has a priority of 0. These are negatives. So now he's going to go to the one that gives him the most resources. That's the seal. And the next most resources is either the fish or the lava lizard. But he'll go for the one that has the most empty squares around it. So he'll go for the fish. All right, my turn. So now I need to get some more resources. Oh, we forgot to replace that species tile. I'm always a turn behind on that, huh? Let's replace it with this level 3. No, what do I need to do? I already exposed that one, so I guess I have to. Okay, level 3. I need to collect that blue-footed booby. I can only, since that's a level 3 tile, I can only do that with a level 4 tile. So I actually need to be working towards, we need some water habitat knowledge down near there. So how do we get that? I don't know if I'm allowed to look at the other side of these. I'm just assuming I'm not. This will have 3 resources on the other side, but I don't know what combination of 3, and the same thing with that, but they may be water. So maybe I should go for one of these and try and put it, not there, I need to put it here or here. I do have a water resource over here, and a land, and an air. So I could try and put it here. Nope. No, it needs 3 land. Oh, I didn't turn over this booby. Oh, look, water resource. Okay, so that's great. I think I definitely need to put a cube there. Although that means that now Charlie's going to put a cube there. But let's see. I need a level 4. So that only requires 2 water. So we need something that's harder for Charlie to get. I already have 1 water resource over here. Doesn't really seem to matter. I wish I had a scalpel. Land. That's going to require 4. I think I can beat him to 4 land and 4 water for the giant Galapagos tortoise. Okay, so I put one already on the red-footed booby, so I'll put the other one on the lava lizard. And now it is Charlie's turn. Can he get anything? He has, right in this little area, he has 2, 4, 5. I should have looked ahead at this. 5 water and 1 land. Nope, he doesn't have enough. Here in this area, he has 4 water and 1 air. That doesn't give him enough. He's approaching, though. Here we have a water and 2 air. Oh, he's getting close to that one. He'd be able to replace that acacia. The acacia, because it's a starting tile, would just get moved off to the side. I don't think he has enough. Oh, he does. He has enough to get this moth. So the moth only requires 2 air, and he has 1 here and 1 here. So he's going to take off both of those. Now, he prefers to replace a tile if he can. And he does have a scalpel, which he wants to use as soon as possible, so he's going to replace the acacia. Now, he can't collect the acacia because it's a starting tile, so he's just going to move it. And I think, let's see, so this one has 4 empty tiles around it. This one also has 4 empty tiles. So I think I get to choose, and I am going to choose here because I think that helps me to get, no, it doesn't help me. Well, oh no, so then I will choose here because I think that's going to help me with getting that blue-footed or the red-footed booby replaced. All right, so we place that moth there. He gets 1 point. He gets a yellow card, so he's going to take the map. He doesn't really need it, but he'll take it anyway. And he'll move the Beagle 1 up here to October 3rd. Okay, and that takes care of that. So now it's my turn. Again, I'm trying to replace this red-footed booby with one of these level 4 tiles. So I know I'm going to put a cube on the booby and a cube on, so that's 4. Oh, actually, put a cube here on the lava lizard because let's uncover Amelia's art. She did such a fabulous job. Because on my next turn, that's going to allow me to get this giant tortoise. Right, now it is Charlie's turn. These both have a priority level of 2. So he's going to put a cube here and a cube here. This is going to get him a point when I replace that, but not much I can do about that. Got to follow his rules. Oh, we didn't actually replace this, so again, a turn behind as usual, right? These are all level 4 tiles, so move these down. Do I need any of them to fulfill an objective? Penguin, that penguin's awfully cute. It gets points for cuteness. An owl, I don't know what kind of owl that is. That's a Galapagos flamingo. Oh, just gonna do the penguin because he's so adorable. Okay, and it's the only penguin that is, it's the penguin in the world that lives the furthest north. I don't know, that was a completely inarticulate way to say that, but I think you get what I mean. Okay, it uncovered a large ground finch, which I don't need. Oh, this fish, I need that fish. So what's out here that I need? I need the fish and the red-footed booby, and this other fish, but that hasn't shown itself yet. And he already got the weevil, so we're out of luck on the weevil. Okay, so I need the fish. I can replace that with a level 3 card. But first, it is my turn, right? Yeah, because Charlie just placed his cubes. So I'm going to get this, here, put these back and show you what's going on. I'm getting this giant tortoise. It requires 4 land and 4 water. This has 2 land resources on it, and I have 2 cubes, so that's 4 land. This has, actually, I'm using quite a bit more than I need to, but that's okay. This will give me my 4 water, and then some. So I am going to use this level 4 tile to replace this level 3 tile. Now, Charlie had a cube on here, so he gets a point. He gets the cube back, but he also gets a point for that. So this is going to come over. I'm going to put it here so you can see that that objective is fulfilled. And then I get 4 points. I think this is the first time in the game I've been ahead of Charlie, just by 1 measly point. 2, I get to pick 2 cards out of blue and green, so any combination of 2 from the blue and the green. Definitely take a book. And I think this one, if I remember correctly, lets me just take a tile from the evolution track. So let's see, who is that? John Lort Stokes. Stokes, take a species tile from the evolution track. I will definitely take him. Okay, so there's my 2 cards. We need to remember to use Captain Fitzroy when we get close to that objective. Okay, and then the Beagle moves 2. So we're up to October 5th. Okay, turn that over. And level 4 tiles do not have resources on them. Okay, so far we're ahead of, I keep wanting to call him Johann because I was just playing Genotype multiple days in a row. And that is the name of that solo AI, but this one's Charlie. Incidentally, Charles Darwin and Gregor Mendel never met each other. Gregor Mendel knew of Charles Darwin, of course, because Charles Darwin was a pretty famous naturalist at the time, and I think Mendel had sent him a copy of his manuscript. It's unclear if Darwin ever read it. Indications are that he didn't. There was an uncut copy of the manuscript in Darwin's library. So he at least didn't read that copy. And it's interesting to think about this as a source of endless speculation amongst evolutionary biologists, is that if Mendel and Darwin had spoken to each other, Mendel's research could have really shed some light on some of the parts of Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection that, importantly, the part about how variation is maintained. So Mendel's research could have informed that. But anyway, that's sort of a crossover information there. So they didn't get to meet. Anyway, my solo AI is named Charlie in this game. And so I just moved that too. So it is now Charlie's turn, but first we need to replace this. So what am I looking to get next? I want that fish. I want to make sure Charlie doesn't get the fish first. But that needs land. What's this one need? Water and land. Land. I need a level 3 or a level 4 tile to replace that fish. It looks like I'm going to have to use a level 4 tile. And I don't want Charlie to get there first. That has, so air, and water. He's partway there already. And 2 of anything. Now I do have my resources card where I get 1 land. So this level 4 tile requires 1 land, so we could probably thwart Charlie for this one. Just requires 4 water, 3 air, and 1 land. Yep, I'm going to put out this flamingo. The Galapagos flamingo goes right up here at the top. Okay, so now it is Charlie's turn. This has a priority value of 1, so he's going to put a cube there. Now I don't have any other cubes out, so he's going to choose the one that gives him the most resources, and that is that one right there. Yep. Okay, so my turn. I am going for that Galapagos flamingo. I'm going to put a cube there on the hydra and a cube here on the fish, although that's going to cause Charlie to do the same thing, but I think that's okay. No, maybe I want to, yeah, that requires 4. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so that's my 2 cubes. Now it's Charlie's turn. Can he get any of these? He can't get the warbler. Can he get the frigate bird? I think that's a magnificent frigate bird. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. No, he can't. He can't get the marine iguana either. The marine iguana are so cool. They can actually, so they will dive down in the water I forget what they eat, but they dive down in the water for part of their food source. And because of that, they're going to accumulate salt within their tissues because of the salt water, and they can actually squirt concentrated salt water out of their eyes. And so when you see pictures of them, they'll have a bunch of white stuff around their eyes, and that's actually salt that has been excreted from their eye sockets. Well, there's a gland in there that actually allows that to happen. So there you go, a little bit of biology trivia, because that's what you get on this channel. He can't afford that in any case. Does he have resources? He does not have a resource card. 6. So he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 water. Uh-oh. Oh, thank goodness he doesn't have enough to get the flamingo. He's close, though. He just needs 3. He just needs 3. Oh, he actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He actually does have 6 water. So the shark and 3 of anything. He has 2, 4, 6, 7 water. Yep, he can get the shark. Oh dear, this is not good for us. Actually, I think it'll be fine because he has to use these cubes over here, doesn't he? 1. Yep. Okay, so he can't replace the fish. He uses, so this is 2 of his water. There, that brings it up to 6. He's going to use the fewest cubes possible. And he does have a land, so there's 1 of the wild ones he needs, and then this will take care of the other 2. So with just 4 cubes, he gets the shark, and he's going to use that. It's a level 4 tile. Oh, he used his scalpel already? I think he did, but I don't remember, so I'm just going to let him use it again if he needs to. Okay, so level 4 tile, he's going to replace this seal. I think, is he going to replace the highest level or the one that is surrounded by the most? Which one? We'll replace if he can, prioritizing replacing non-starting tiles above starting tiles and objective species tiles above anything else, even if doing so is more costly. Given multiple squares he could possibly place the tile, he will place on the square that loses him the fewest number of resources. We already did that. Likewise, when playing cubes, so that doesn't matter. Given more than one equally viable square, so these two are both viable right now. Given more than one equally viable square, Charlie will choose the square with the most adjacent empty squares, so that applies to neither one of them. If Charlie still has more than one equally viable target square, the soloist must decide for him, even if it's to Charlie's disadvantage. So I think I can look at the other side of this now. Oh, it's a level 4. So I definitely don't want it there because I need to replace that fish. So even though that would give me a point, I need those resources. So he's going to replace the seal since it's my choice. Oops. But he needs to know what rewards he gets. Okay, so he collects that seal. So he gets 4 points. 1, 2, 3. It was short-lived that I was ahead of him. He gets 2 blue cards, so he's getting more resources and more books. He has a pile of books. And he gets to move the beagle twice. So we're up to October 8th. October 8th. So it's going to come around here, snake around here, and then we're almost, I think we're only about halfway through, but I'll start talking a little less much to get us to the end a little quicker. You're probably tired of hearing me yakking. Okay, well, hopefully not. So he did that, and the beagle moved twice, so we're all good. Okay, and that's a level 4 tile, so it does not have any resources. Now it is my turn, but first we need to replace that species tile. I think the fish is the last one out here that I need. I think I have everything else I can get except for this other fish that has not shown itself yet. So, I guess I want to be able to use this cube down here, so, oh, not that one, maybe not that one. He has water resources, so I definitely don't want to put, not that there's not plenty for him to choose from, but I guess we'll put out the owl. No, I want to uncover more because I want to get that fish uncovered if it's here, so we'll do that. Oh, this crab is so cool. I can't remember its common name, but it can leap. Makes it hard to catch, apparently. Okay, anyway, this goes right here. That is a large ground finch. All right, so now it is my turn, and I am going for something that can help me replace that fish, and I think I decided, so I have this, I decided the flamingo. I'm going for the flamingo, so I need 3 air. I've got 1, 2 right now, so I need 1 more. So I need a cube on the, I need a cube here. No, because then Charlie will go there and get points. I think he's going to go there anyway. Let's see if I can lure him away. Let's go there. I think that gets me all that I need. No, I can go here. Okay, so 3 for my next turn, 3 air, 1 land, and 4 water. Got it. Yes. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, I think he's still going to put a cube there. His turn, he's definitely going to go here because it gets him the most, so priority numbers. That's a 2, 1, 1. So he goes here, and now these all have a 1 priority number, except he can't go there again. So he's going to choose one of these 2. This one gives him the most resources, so there he goes. So now it's my turn. I'm going to replace that fish with this flamingo. I need to use this resource card to do it. So I have 1 land. I only need 3 more. Oh, I only need 3 more water and 2 more air. So this gives me a water and an air. There's my air, and then one of these will give me enough to get what I need for the flamingo. So that gets discarded. So he gets a point for that. I get to keep that fish. There it goes over there. I get my cubes back. I get 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. I caught up with Charlie. I'm going to need to get some more books or I'm not going to be able to catch up with him. I get a blue and a blue or a yellow card. The yellow card gives me books. I don't need another Fitzroy card, so I'm going to take the one that gives me books. And then the beagle moves twice. So we are now up to October 17th. We zoomed up to October 17th. We're getting closer to the end. That's that. And that's a level 4 tile, so it does not give any resources. And now we got to remember that Charlie has these 2 water resources and he has a scalpel. So can he use those? Oh, let's replace this species tile. I guess we'll do this. Oh, there's the fish we need. The tanager. Level 2 tile goes right there. Okay, we need to get... Oh! When it's my turn... It's not my turn yet. I think Charlie goes next because I think I just placed that flamingo. When it's my turn, I can use this card, John Lort Stokes, to actually just... Oh no, it's not out on the evolution track yet. I need to get it on the evolution track. Okay, so it's Charlie's turn. He doesn't have enough to get this warbler who has just been hanging out since the beginning of the game. This requires 2 air and 2 land, so he doesn't have enough for anything, I don't think. No, and even though he does have these 2 water, nope. Okay, priority, that's a 0, that's a -1, so now he's going to go for whatever gives him the most resources, which is, so set then next, so these 2 both give him the most resources, but his next choice will be based on empty tiles around it, so the lava lizard. And then he'll go for this one because it gives him the most resources. So 1 on each of those. Oh, whoops, those are my cubes. Sorry, Charlie. Wasn't that a commercial back in the 70s? Okay, so he did that. Now it is my turn. What am I going for? There's no species out here I need. I need this fish that is not yet on the evolution track, and I need to get it to the evolution track, and once that happens, I can actually just take it because of one of my cards. So I'm really looking for points now and trying to steer Charlie away from points. So is there a 4-pointer? I don't have a resource card anymore. Yeah, I think I want to. So that has 2. I need to... That penguin can be used to replace... I don't have a scalpel, but it can be used to replace this moth or the hydra or the lava lizard. The penguin. And the penguin only needs water and land. So any of combination of those is possible. So I know I'm going to put a cube on the lava lizard. And although... Let's see, I want to make sure that Charlie doesn't get that tanager because it'll use up his land. I kind of want to draw him away while still getting the things I need for that penguin. I guess we'll go here. So, oh, I don't know. I think he's actually going to do the same thing he did last time. So he's got now 4 water and 2 land, and he doesn't have any air. Doesn't have any air. So he's just going to do the same thing he did before. These have equal priority, but they give him the most resources, so he's going to do those. Now it's my turn. What's he going to do next? He has 6 water now, which does give him enough for the penguin, but he only has 4 land, so I need to beat him to that. Is there any... There's no way for me to do that. Not unless I lure him away from that, so... I think he's going to get to the penguin before I do. I don't think there's any way I can stop him. Maybe. Well, if I put this here, that still has 0 priority. That has negative priority. He's already got 4, so maybe I lure him away someplace else. to be able to beat him to the penguin. Where do I want to lure him away? You know what? I think if I lure him away over here, he's going to get the tanager and use it to replace that moth. I think that's okay. There's the beagle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces away from the end. And that would open up a spot on the track. Okay, I think I just did the right thing. And now it is Charlie's turn. He's definitely placing this 1 cube here because that has the highest priority number. And then he's going to move a cube from somewhere. So he's going to, this has negative priority. So I think he moves it from there because it has negative priority. Or do we work our way up from the bottom? So the lowest priority tile is the tile that generates the most resources Charlie has the least of. He has the least of the air. So, but that doesn't inform me where to, oh, he moves it from here. So I think he moves it to air. And these both have a priority value of 0. I hope I'm not doing the wrong thing. If anybody knows, put it in the comments and I'll live and learn. So I guess these have equal priority. So I'm going to choose that he puts it here, actually. Okay, my turn. I am going for the penguin. I don't have a resource card, so I do need one more. And that penguin is going to be used to replace this hydra, I think. Or I can use it to replace the hydra. I don't have to, but that'll work. So I can put 1 cube up here to keep Charlie away from that. And my other cube, I need 5 land. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, do that. Okay, and then there. Okay, so now it is Charlie's turn. I think he has enough to get the tanager. I think it's a summer tanager. Anyway, he has 2 air, boom, and 2 land. He only needs to use 1 of these cubes. And he will replace the moth, so he collects the moth. These are all his card tiles along the bottom. He gets these 3 cubes back. He gets 2 points. Oh, I caught up with him briefly. He gets 2 points. He gets a yellow and a green card. So green. Oh, more books. Man, he's, well, we'll count him here in a minute. He gets a beagle card, so we'll draw 1 randomly. Another map. He doesn't need it. And the beagle moves twice. 1, 2. Oh, okay. On my turn, let's not forget. I'm just going to keep this in my hand. I need this. No, I need to not forget. I need to not forget to use Captain Fitzroy, which lets me move the beagle 2 spaces. But anyway, back to where we were. We moved the beagle 1, so this gets turned over. So it is my turn now. It is my turn. I will use Captain Fitzroy right now. This moves 1, 2. This comes down here. I get 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that gets discarded. And then, oh, and this we didn't replace from when Charlie did the tanager. So this comes here. So I think I can use any number of cards. Let's see. During their turn, a player may play any number of cards, discarding them. So fantastic. I am also going to play this one here. This is John Lort Stokes, and he lets me take a tile from the evolution track. And I am going to take this fish that I need because that is this fish right here. I don't know its name, but then we're just going to replace it with this leaping crab just because I think this crab is cool. Okay, but I've gotten the most species that I can get, so we're going to discard him. And now I get to either get a species or just place cubes. But I think I have enough to get this penguin. So 5, so I have 6 land, so I get all those cubes. And then 3 water, I have 4, so I actually had too many resources. Or not, I have an overabundance. So I used these 2 tiles. This is a level 4 tile, so I'll just replace this one because it gets, no, wait, not do that because Charlie has cubes on both of those. I used both of these tiles, so actually I can you replace this one because this is a level 4, and that way Charlie doesn't get points for his cubes being knocked off. Okay, so I get 4 points. Oh, yay! I am finally a sizable amount ahead of Charlie. That is great. I get to pick 2 cards between green and blue. So that's these 2 piles here. I will definitely take this one that gives me books. Oh, and I'll take, yep, I can do 2 green. I'll take this one that gives me books. So fantastic. And then I move the beagle twice, and we are at the end of the game. And so immediately, as soon as the beagle gets here, is when the game ends. First, we collect tiles that we have the most cubes on. So neither one of us gets this one because we both have the same number of cubes. I have the most cubes on this one. I don't know if you can collect starting tiles, but it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to get points for it, but I'll remove my cubes. It might make a difference in the end, but actually, I don't think it does right now. Okay, and then Charlie gets these 2 tiles, which is bad for us because that was 6 points for him. Okay, and now we need to count up our books. So Charlie has 2, 5, 8, 10, 12, 14, 17, 19 books. So he gets 9 points. 5, 6, 6. Oh, whoops, that should be there. 7, 8, 9, 10 points. Okay. And then I have, please let it be more than 10, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 books. So I get 9 points as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and then let's count tile points for Charlie. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tiles times 3 points each is 18 points. He's at 4, so that puts him up to 22, which is actually plus 30, so he's at 52 points. These 3 tiles get me no points because they don't fulfill objectives, but I did get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiles that fulfill these species objectives, and that is 16 points. So if you look in the rule book on the page that has its appendix to, I think this is the 2nd edition printing. I don't know where to tell. But anyway, it's on page 11 in my rule book. But where we have variants for the advanced game, matching species tiles, I have 5, so that gives me 16 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Could have probably done math, that would be easier. Yay! I think that is all the points are accounted for, and I beat Charlie by 4 points. 4 points. I won by 4 points. So that is the solo game of On the Origin of Species. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully I didn't talk too much and drag it out too much. Well, I guess we'll see how long the recording is. This game is supposed to, let's see, on the box, 45 to 80 minutes. Now I'm going to guess a solo game. I don't know how long my other solo game is. Once you don't have to look things up for Charlie, and actually after the 2nd game, I feel like I have all of his rules kind of down in my head, and I do have them close by in an easy to access. So a little bit, the solo mode is a little bit fussy just because you have to, in placing Charlie's cubes, you have to go through this rather lengthy priority list, but it's a good one and it makes sense. And I think from everything I'm reading online and from my own experience, is that the scores of the AI and the solo player, once they know what they're doing, Charlie actually beat me by quite a lot on my first game, but I kind of messed up in not looking ahead enough at his game. But I think these are relatively close. So he got a total of 52, I got a total of 56. 52 to 56 points. I'm not sure how that compares. I'll have to look online. So he's a little bit fussy because of these priorities. I found it the hardest figuring out where he was going to place tiles, but I was starting to get that down, and this is only my second solo game, so I was starting to get that down. I think if you played this often enough that you don't have to look up things too much, that it wouldn't be too fussy. I might try and fiddle around with making a solo player aid, because right now I have here, I'll show you, right now I have the rules on this 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and they go all the way to the end. The end game scoring is all the way on the bottom. And so I'll keep this in the box, but I think what I'd like to do is see if I can make up a solo player aid that is a little more compact, that makes it easier to figure out quickly where the tiles are placed. I think placing the cubes is relatively intuitive. Those rules are pretty easy because you usually only have to go through the first 3. And that is the tile that has the highest, what I call priority number, where I take my cubes and subtract out Charlie's cubes and figure out that number. And then failing that, the tile that generates the most resources, and then failing that, the tile with the most adjacent empty spaces. I don't think I had to at all. Sometimes I had to go down and figure out the tile that generates the most resources once the board was getting more full. But that wasn't too hard to figure out. The harder thing to figure out was the tiles, where to place his tiles. And I don't know if I inadvertently cheated by I tried to keep a close eye on the cards that he had over here, but again, that's another thing. So maybe a better option, if I'm not, recording this, would be to have his cards right down here next to his cubes, so that I could always be reminded what cards he has, because that's another thing that you have to keep an eye on. So a little bit fussy, the solo mode, but I didn't find it prohibitively so. And I really like this game. What I really like about it is this sort of, you have to think ahead. And in the solo game, it's even more of a puzzle because you can look ahead. You know what Charlie's going to do on his next turn. And you can kind of even look ahead almost a couple of turns. You can kind of draw him away from things, sort of, because you know his rules for placing cubes. And I think that's just all part of the puzzle. I don't think that's cheating or anything. So it's a really fun puzzle. I like the multiplayer game too. I've only played the multiplayer game once, and we didn't play the advanced mode. I think we played just the regular mode, and that was good. I will say that in the regular mode, that right about when the Beagle was here, about October 19th, I was starting to think, the game should be over. This was in the multiplayer game. The game should be over, but then it ended like 2 turns later, so that was good. But I think had we been playing the advanced variant, I think while it may have taken 10-15 minutes longer to play because you'd be a little bit more AP prone, analysis paralysis prone, overthinking your turns, possibly. I get that way sometimes. I think in the advanced mode that it wouldn't overstay its welcome at all. I think it would probably be just exactly long enough. I think they really struck a nice balance with the length of the game. I don't know that I would want to play this with 4 players. I think that with everybody thinking through their turns, now given, of course, if you're playing with 4 players, you can use other people's turns to sort of think through your turns, but what they do is going to impact your decisions. So I honestly don't think I would want to play this at 4 players. But if you have played this at 4 players and you enjoyed that experience, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Or if you didn't, if you thought that it overstayed its welcome, that would be good to know. I don't know about 3 players. Seems like a little bit starting to maybe get a little long. I think it's an excellent 2-player game. I also really like it at solo. I can see myself playing this definitely at least a few more times this week while I still have Charlie's rules kind of fresh in my head. And like I said, trying to make a player aid. If I do, I'll try and remember to put a link to it. I'll put it in the files on Board Game Geek for this game, and try and remember to put a link to it in the description of this video if I do manage to get around to creating something that works. I'll do that. But I think that's all I have to say about this. And thanks for watching. Appreciate your time, and your attention, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!